The Queen Mary is one of the most haunted places in America, and B340 claims to be the most haunted room in the Queen Mary. The room had so much activity that guests were not allowed to reserve it. Previously, you could tour B340 as part of a ghost tour, but they recently renovated the room into a suite and opened it up for reservations, starting at $500 a night. Myself, JD, my wife Lucy of the Grand Tour duo, and my sister decided to give ghost hunting a shot and rented the room. We set up night vision cameras around the room and got some microphones and cell phones to try and capture as much activity as we could. Being amateurs, we didn't expect much. During one of our previous visits to the Queen Mary, myself, Lucy, and her father were walking down one of the hallways after walking the ship, trying to see if anything ghostly would happen. Nothing did, and so we were heading back to our room around 1 a.m., and we were walking down this hallway, and we start hearing this noise. And since I was no longer in the ghost hunting mentality, I kind of was just ignoring it. Lucy's dad turned around and said, "Do you hear that?" And I went, "Yes, I do." And we kind of just stood there for a bit and heard what sounded like someone drowning. It lasted maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and afterwards we tried looking for the source but found nothing. On that trip, we weren't prepared to record anything, but we were on this trip, and it does appear that we did experience some paranormal activity in B340. But before we get to that, I just wanted to also debunk some activity that other guests have reported or experienced in that room. Again, general noises are very hard to find the source. The hotel is very busy, and it's hard to isolate that noise coming from the room next to you, above, below, or in the hallway. The foot traffic is impressive near B340, and we saw people wandering the halls up until 3 to 4 a.m. in the morning, and we even had to put up signs on our doors to please not to bother us because it was getting ridiculous how many people come up to that door. People also experience cold breezes, things moving near the portholes, and those portholes again are not sealed, and they could have been left open from the previous guests, and so a breeze can come in. One of the claims is that you can hear the faucet turn on. This is actually a pipe behind a loft cabinet in the room. Water from the above bathroom drains through this pipe and sounds like an open faucet. My wife was in B340, and I went up one floor and listened at the door of the room above ours, and they were using the bathroom at the same time. You could hear a faucet in B340. This first clip happens about 3 hours into our visit. When we first went into the room, we set up all our equipment, and then I pulled out some of the drawers and put some of our equipment bags in there. This bag contained an extension cord and a power strip, and at this point had been sitting there for 3 hours. And we have video that it didn't do anything prior to this, and didn't do anything for the rest of the visit. So we had just returned from dinner, and we wanted to take a nap before spending all the night ghost hunting. So we lay down, and about 20 seconds into us laying down, I start hearing a crackling. I get up. My sister thinks it's coming from the mini fridge, but I hear it's coming from the dresser. I grab my phone, I turn on the lights, and this is what we saw. This bag's moving. This bag's moving.
You didn't see that? I saw it, but I'm not playing it. Don't. Do we hear somebody? What's in the back?
Stop.
Just watch.
If you had a hard time seeing the bag move, make sure you watch it in full screen, and if you can, set the playback speed to 1.5 or 2 times, and you should be able to see it move clearly. This next clip happens while we're at dinner. The bag had been sitting there for about 90 minutes, and then the handle just suddenly appears to get slapped down. Something appears to jump into frame for about a second, and then it's gone right now. This activity also happens about 10 minutes before the bag starts moving. Do you prefer to come out during the day? You got a question?
Anything else, you like to say? I mean, sounds like you like the daylight, right?
So is B340 haunted? I don't know. I can say that this being our first ghost hunt, I think I was impressed by how much activity we saw, and to be honest, there is nothing on video that compares to actually being in front of a bag moving on its own with no reasonable source for that motion. B340 didn't even really feel that uncomfortable. I think walking into the room, the history and the lore of the room affect you, but once we were in it, it felt pretty comfortable. I slept pretty comfortably, and we even did the typical all dark by yourself in there, and it didn't feel any spookier than walking the ship by yourself. I think as a group we had such a great time ghost hunting. This most definitely won't be the last time we do it. We're looking into other places to ghost hunt, and we would like to go back to the Queen Mary. Maybe not B340, but just another room. But we might go back to B340 if we happen to never see anything paranormal again.